Hello guys, welcome to this video. So in this video we will be integrating the Google OAuth login inside our Nuxt application. Nuxt, as you all know, it's a Next.js very similar framework which is based upon Vue.js. So Nuxt is both server-side and client-side framework. So we'll be integrating the Google login system right here. If you visit localhost 3000, it will automatically detect that you're already logged in, and it will now show you this you are already logged in. So go to profile page. If I go to profile page, this is actually the profile of the logged in user. You will see their display name, email address, profile picture, and a logout button as well. So if we are storing information in session, so if I accidentally close this window, it will automatically detect that we are already logged in. If I go to the home page of the application, you will see you are logged in. So I'm running this application on localhost 3000 port number. So simply it will display the profile information. This is a display name, email address, profile picture, and a logout button. So if I click now logout, so it will redirect me to the home page, and now if I again refresh, you will be redirected to the login page. So if I now visit the home page, it will detect that I am already logged out. It will show me the login page. So it's a state management that we are doing it using Vuex, Vuex. Vuex is actually a state management in this framework, which is Nuxt. So if you just again log in, you will see that this is actually the profile page. You can do it for any account right here. If I open this account, a different account, Google account, so you will be logged out. So if you're doing it for the very first time, it will ask for the consent screen. Here you need to select your Google account. You just need to allow the permission, click on continue, and you will see your profile page. You will see that. So in this way, if you close it, open it once again, it will say to you that you are already logged in. Go to the profile page. So this is the Google OAuth functionality, guys. We'll be integrating inside a Nuxt app. So we are using the latest version of Nuxt, as you all know, is based upon Vue framework. So it has both server side and client side code. So you don't require front end and back end differently. You can use this. It's similar to Next.js, but it is based upon Vue.js. So this is actually the directory structure. If you want to purchase the full source code, guys, with full documentation and support from me, you can go to the description link and purchase the full source code. You can go to procodestore.com, where you will actually get the source code. After you purchase it, you will be redirected to Google Drive, where you will get this zip file, which will actually contain all this directory structure, and all the documentation will also be given. Step-by-step instruction will also be given. So the link is given. So now let's get started by building this project. I will be seeing you in the next section. So now to get started, guys, the very first step, we need to create a new Nuxt project. So I will show you step by step. I will go into my working directory, where I will simply develop this project. So here you need to open command line. So I will show you this command. So simply pause the video and write this command: npm init nuxt -app and @latest. So this will tell the command to actually download the latest version of Next, and npm init nuxt -app @latest, and space followed by your project name. So let me call this project as Nuxt Google Login. So this is the command. You can pause the video and write this command. Enter it, and now it will ask you some questions related to the project, such as the project name, which framework you want to use. So it is generating this project, so it will ask you for the project name. So you can stick with the default option, simply press enter. You will be using JavaScript, not TypeScript. And package manager, simply drop down to npm. And UI framework, we will not be using any UI framework for this. Template engine will be HTML. Nuxt modules, we will be using the Axios promise-based HTTP client. And ESLint, we will use it. And testing, we are not using any testing framework. So rendering mode, we are not using SPA, single page app, so universal is stick. And deployment, we are not deploying it, so we will stick to the default option server. And development tools, stick to the default option which is recommended for VS Code, jsconfig.json. And just provide your GitHub username, or it is not required, simply press enter. Version control, select Git. So now it will install these packages. It will create your very first Nuxt app in the working directory, so just wait for the process to finish. It is installing all the packages which are required. So once it finishes, it will give you a notification, and then you can open that project inside VS Code. So just wait. I'm showing you the full, I'm not pausing any in the video, so just see everything which is happening right here, and just wait. It hardly take 15 to 20 seconds to actually install all these packages. So you can see that it is doing it. So now you can see it has built our project. So now we can cd into the project here, Nuxt Google login, and here we can actually open it inside VS Code. This is the very Nuxt basic project that you will see. It is similar to Next.js, but it is far more simpler and easy to learn than Next.js. We have basically the components folder where you store node modules. This is actually the pages. This is the static assets folder. This is a store folder. So then this is a main file which is nuxt.config.js file. So here you will be adding all your third-party modules that you want to, and all the CDN. For this tutorial we're using the Tailwind CSS, so here we will be providing the Tailwind CSS in the head tag that you see right here. It is far more simpler than Next.js. Next.js is slightly complicated, but Nuxt is slightly easier to learn. So the very first thing we will do right here, we need to install two modules for our integrating the OAuth Google login. So this one will be @Nuxt.js/auth next. This is actually the module which is responsible for integrating the Google OAuth login. So this package is specifically designed for Nuxt.js, and the second package will be Axios. So Axios, as you all know, is a HTTP client which is used to make API request. So this module is responsible on this module, so that's why you need to install Axios as well. So enter it, and it will actually install both these packages. So once it is installed, we can start running this application. Simply type npm run dev. This will start your development server on localhost 3000. It will compile both the server side code and the client side code. For this tutorial we don't have any server side code, so we only need to write the client side code. So it is, you can see it is listening on HTTP localhost 3000. So the environment is development, rendering is server side. So you can see it is compiling for both client and server side. So now it is compiled, so we can directly open localhost 3000. So it will be, this is a welcome page that it gives you. Welcome to the Nuxt application. You can basically edit this page, which is located in the pages directory, index page, and here you can change this. So every HTML needs to reside in the template tag right here. This is the base tag right here. You can say hello world. So if you make this change, you will see that it will reflect. So now we just need to configure the OAuth login. So just go to this file, which is nuxt.config.js file, and right here, first of all, we need to add in the head tag So right here we will I will delete everything from here in the we don't need these meta tags, so we can delete this. So we will be having this script tag which is there in this head tag. So this will be an array, just put a comma right here. This will be an object and it will actually contain a source property and it will navigate to the tailwind CSS cdn.tailwindcss.com, and here we also need to provide the second property which is defer to true. So in this way you can add any UI framework CDN like this. The script tag, we are dynamically adding it to the whole application by configuring it in the nuxt.config.js file. So it will add this to your application, all your HTML files globally. So after that you just need to write here, you need to have a modules. You will have a modules folder right here. This will be empty by default. In these we need to add two modules that we have installed. First module is @Nuxt.js Axios, comma, and the second module is @Nuxt.js auth next. So these are the two modules that we have installed early on using the command. We are adding it to the modules array right here. Very simple, and this will allow Nuxt to actually use these modules in the application. We are registering it globally inside this file. So the next thing we need to do is actually having the auth module. This will be an object. So just here we will be integrating the or registering the OAuth2 login of Google. So here we need to have a strategy. So it contains a strategies object. We need to provide it, and it will have a Google strategy, and here we need to provide the client ID. So client ID we need to provide it. We will be getting it using Google Cloud Console, and then the second option here will be code challenge method, and then the response type, it will be coming as an access token. So token space ID token, and then here we need to provide the redirect URI. So redirect URI for this will be http localhost 3000/callback. You can do it anything, but for my purpose I will be putting /callback. So you just need to provide the same redirect URI in the Google Developer Console as well. So whatever that you provide here, you need to provide in Google Developer Console. And the last option is the scope. So what information you are requesting. You are requesting the profile of the user and the email address. So in double quotes you can just write. So these are the five options are there: client ID, code challenge method, response type, redirect URI, and the scope. So after you provide these options, first of all let me show you how you can get the client ID. It's very easy. Go to Google Cloud Console, and here you should have a project created. It's completely free. Go to API services, and right here you will actually go to credentials and click on OAuth client ID, and just select the application type right here. This will be web application, and just give the home page URL in the authorized JavaScript origin. So just copy this URL and paste it. So this will be the home page of the application, http localhost 3000, and the callback URL will be http localhost 3000/callback. Click on create, and then it will give you your client ID. You only need the client ID, not the client secret. This will be different for you, so don't copy my client ID, and simply I will paste it. So this is actually configuration is almost done. After you do this, we also need to put a comma right here, and we also need to say here redirect, and login will be the home page, logout will also be the home page, callback, so callback URL will be configured. You will see slash callback, we have defined this callback URL. And then lastly is the profile page, so home page will be the profile page, it will go to slash profile. So redirect URI is an basically object which containing 4 values, so where Google should redirect you. So login page will be the home page, logout will also be the home page, and callback will be slash callback, and profile will be the home page. So this is all that we need to do inside right here. The configuration process is over. This is all that we need to do inside this file. Now you can close this file, and we will now be building the templates in the next section. So I will be seeing you in the next section. So now guys, we will actually be writing the state management code for Nuxt application. So in the last tutorial, in the last section, we configured our Nuxt config.js file, where we actually added the dependencies and the configuration code for this is a client ID, everything we added. Now there will be this folder out there which you see, which is the store folder. So here this is the folder, you need to create a file right here. So the file name will be index.js, you can give any name of your choice. So this will actually contain all the state management code. So this is similar to Next.js. In Next.js we use Redux. Redux is, you know that it's a concept of state management for React.js application. Similarly in Vue.js we have a state called as which is this is inside this Vue.js we need to write the state management, and this is called as Vuex, Vuex. So here we will first of all write some state here for this application. So there will be a single state variable inside this, it will be the user. Currently the value of the user will be null by default, so you just need to simply write this, user will be null. So when the application loads for the very first time, this user will be null because we haven't done the authentication. So let me restart the application, just type here npm run dev, so that it will actually start your development server on localhost 3000. So you will see that it will compile this application and it will actually run your application localhost 3000. So if you run it for the very first time, this user variable will come out to be null. So you will see that. So this is null, and after that there is a concept of called as mutations. Mutations are nothing but the actual actions that you perform to the state. So one action will be for performing guys, which is set user. We will be writing this, defining this. It will actually take the current state of the user, and it will also take a payload. Payload is actually kind of a data. So we will be setting the state. So we'll simply say state.user is equal to the user. So what is user passed in right here, which is a payload. We will be manipulating the state. We are changing the state here, and state.user is equal to user. So this is called as mutation inside state management inside Vuex. So we also need to have a getter method as well. In order to get the value of the state, we will be defining this getters methods. This is actually a syntax of defining state inside Vuex. We will have a function called as isAuthenticated. It will take the state as an argument, and then it will return either the user is authenticated or not. So this double exclamation mark right here, double not sign, it will return the value as true or false, whether the user is authenticated or not. So this function will return either a boolean value, true or false. The second one will be logged in user. This is again will be, it will take the state as an argument, and it will return the actual user which is present in the state. So it returns state.user. So these are the two methods that we defined guys, which is contained inside this Vuex store. and this is actual mutation that we define set user, and this is a getter method. These are the two methods we will be using inside our views whenever we will make it in the next section. So whenever you define your pages, we will be using these methods that we are defining in the state in the store folder index.js. So after this, there is also a concept called as actions inside the state management. If you have studied Vuex, you will know what I am doing right here. If you don't know, just write this code as it is. Next server init, we will be defining this, and inside this we will pass a commit request and here we will have if condition. If request.session and request.session.user, if the session is there, then we will simply call this commit method, and we will call the mutation set user, and we will pass the user which is present in the session, request.session.user. We will actually call this mutation. If you see, we have defined this mutation which is set user. We are calling this mutation from here, from this next server init, and after this put a comma, and then we will define this set user also here, commit user, commit set user, that's all. So this is actually the state management code that we have written in order to keep track of the authenticated user, whether they are logged in, whether they are not logged in. So this is actual file you need to create, guys, in the store folder. By default this folder will be empty. Just create an index.js file and write this code. And now in the next section we will define our views. Just create a profile.view view. This will be the index page which will actually contain the login page. This is a profile.view page which will contain the profile details about the user. So we will be defining these two routes in the next section. So now, guys, in this section we will actually be writing the views of our application which the user will see. So currently if you go to localhost 3000, you see this hello world message. So instead of this, we just need to delete this and have a login button. So we will be conditionally be rendering this login button. We will use these tailwind classes mxauto p-4. So right here we will actually have a conditional inside vif, which is actually a if else condition syntax. We will be using this variable which is authenticated. So is authenticated will be this method which will either return true or false depending upon whether the user is logged in or not. And here we just need to, at the bottom side, we just need to declare the script tag, and here we just need to define this is authenticated. So right here we will be defining this async function, async data, and here we just need to pass two variables which will be passed to this function, auth and store. And inside this function we will be having this if condition. So this variable that is passed here, auth, it contains a property called as logged in. So if the user is currently logged in, then we will actually dispatch a event to Vuex store. So now to dispatch this event, we have a function right here which is store.dispatch, and we will be calling this again set user that we have defined in the earlier section. We will be passing this currently logged in user right here. We are dispatching this event which is set user. If you see in the index.js file, we have declared this mutation which is called as set user. We are currently calling this mutation, so this code will execute and it will actually call this mutation set user inside the index.js file. So after that your user will be logged in. So put a comma here, and there is this computed property which is there inside Vue.js. So this is authenticated that we are using inside our HTML. This property either will return true or false depending upon whether the user is logged in or not. So we'll be returning this dot store and getters is authenticated. So you can see that we have inside in index.js we have defined this getter method which is authenticated. So we are actually calling this method. So this will return either true or false depending upon whether the user is logged in or not. So this will evaluate to either true or false, and right depending upon whether it's true or false we will be showing the login button or we will be showing the profile details of the user. So if the user is not logged in this scenario it will evaluate to true. So in this case we will be showing the heading to the user that please log in. So we will be using the tailwind classes right here. So we will give it a heading which is login. So we will have a simple button right here which will allow the user to log in with Google. So we'll be binding an on-click event listener to this button. So when we click this button right here, we will be executing this method login with Google. So we just need to give some tailwind classes to this button. BG blue 500. Text will be in white color. So text white. Padding 2. It will be rounded and it will also have some shadow as well. So if you just refresh your browser guys, what you will see, if you navigate to localhost 3000 you will see this login with Google button. So how this is working behind the scenes is very easy. It is actually evaluating this condition if. So it totally depends upon this value. So if this value comes out to be true, then the user is not logged in. So that's why you are seeing this login with Google button. So if the user will be logged in, then you will see the profile details, then this condition will evaluate to false. So here it is calling this function right here in the computed property, and in turn this is calling the index.js file in the getter function. So it is all this code is interrelated to each other. So now right here we will be having the after this button that you see right here, we will have the another div tag, and this time we'll be defining the else condition. So if the user is logged in, if this condition evaluates to false right here, so in this case we will be defining or showing the user profile details such as the email address, display name and the profile picture. We will be giving tailwind classes right here to this also. So we'll be giving a heading to that. We will just put a message to the user that you are logged in, and then we will simply have next link, and we will be having this to tag right here. We will just say to the user you are logged in, so go to the profile page. So we will be having this button right here, BG green. This is a built-in element of Nuxt. So you will basically see this is actually the link tag which is built in inside Nuxt, which is called as Nuxt link. It will basically link to the / profile route that we will make right here. Go to profile. So when the user is logged in, this message will show to the user, you are logged in, please go to this profile page. And right here, whenever user goes to this view will open. So right here, here you will be showing the details of the logged in user. So right here, if you just see right here, we will be defining one more entry, method section. So when we click this, if you see, we are binding a on-click listener to this login button. When we click this login with Google button, this function, we need to define it right here in the method section. So we'll be defining this async function, which will be login with Google. So inside this function, guys, we will simply say await this dot, and we will be saying auth login with. This is the actual function which is present inside this module, and here we need to provide the provider. So it has various social media providers: Google, Pinterest, Twitter. In this specific video, we're talking about Google. So here you need to provide the first argument as Google, and then after that it will actually interact with that Vuex store, and we need to dispatch again, and we need to set the user. After we get the user, logged in user, we can simply pass the logged in user like this auth user. That's all. We are now communicating with that index.js file, and we are dispatching this logged in user, and we are calling this mutation set user, and we are actually manipulating the state and pass the logged in user. Whenever the authentication is done, we are dispatching this event set user. So now the thing is complete. If you click this login with Google button, you will be redirected to the screen where you can actually select your consent screen, where you can actually select your Google account, grant the permission, click on continue, and you will basically see render function or template not defined in component pages profile.view. So we need to define something inside profile.view. So we are redirected to this localhost 3000 profile route. So this is perfectly working fine. Now we just need to have something right here. We can say this is the profile page. So if you just refresh now, you will see this is a profile page. So we are simply, if you close this once again, open that localhost 3000, it will automatically detect that you are already logged in. It will show to you that you are logged in. Please go to profile page. I will simply go navigate to the profile page. So now we need to display the logged in user details such as profile picture, display name, email address. This is really simple. We can simply say the container class mxauto p4. So these are all Tailwind classes, and right here we will be displaying first of all the display name. We say profile, so inside this we will actually have an image tag, and it will be equal to profile.picture. So this profile user will be coming. If you just have a script tag right here, every view component has a template and script and a style tag, as you all know. So right here we will be having some properties to this component: export default, computed component, which is computed property will be the profile method, and it will be returning this dot auth user. So currently logged in user, which we will be passing to this profile object profile.picture. If you just refresh now, you will actually see the photograph of the user. I just need to give it a class as well. Image source, sorry, you need to put colon right here. You will see the picture is there. So we can actually give it a Tailwind class here to make it round. The width 16, height will also be 16, and it will be rounded full MR4. So you can see it is rounded right here, and after this we can actually give the display name and the email address, which is double curly bracket, and we can here write here profile.name. Similarly, we can repeat this. So this will be profile.email. So you will see that we have the profile, display name, email address and profile picture. Lastly, we will actually have a simple button for logout functionality as well. So here we will simply say logout. We'll give it a on click listener to it, bind it, which will execute this function logout. So right here we can actually, if you see, we have a logout button as well. So just also assign a style to it as well, scoped. Just give it a container class is max width 600 pixel. Just do it and it will actually center it. You will see that. So it will give some padding, and also we will be giving a border radius to the card class, which is 8 pixel. So this is not necessary. I have just written some style sheet. So this styles will only apply to this component. That's its advantage of using styled component. So right here, now to define the methods, we will put a comma right here, and this is, we will define the logout method, which is very simple. We will say this dot auth, and we can call the logout method. That's all. This will actually log out the user. If you refresh, click on logout, he will be redirected back to the login page. If you click now, if you try to go to the home page, it will show to you you are currently logged in. Go to the profile page. If you log out, you will be logged out. So this is a very simple application, guys, we have developed, and you can log in with any route, any Google account. If you're doing it for the very first time, you will ask for the consent screen. Simply allow access. If you go to the home page, you're currently logged in, go to profile page. So this is a thing, guys. If you are interested in purchasing the full source code with full documentation and support, the link is given. You can directly hit the like button, subscribe the channel, and I will be seeing you in the next video.